Okay, it's a new format. Buddy Bob's here, and we are going to talk about a golf ball test, a realization of the blades do get better with time, and some old stuff that we just talked about. All next on What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Welcome back to the Mid Golf Shop. Jim McCleary here, and this is the What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Why? Because old club makers and club fitters are tremendous pack rats. And I am going to do one more check because, yeah, make it sound a little bit better. That might sound just a tiny bit better. And I'm no different. It's about what's in my drawers in my shop. And this is where we talk about club repairs, reviews, and fittings. And today, my buddy Bob, the guy that spanks me most of the time when we go out all golfing, is here to help us because he did some testing with us on the golf ball, and so that we're going to discuss. So don't be afraid to ask him any questions. All righty. So this time I do have pictures. A lot of Wilson this today, right? A lot of Wilson. My Wilson rep showed up with some golf balls, but he also showed up with this. A truckload of Woodwoods. And none of these are actually bad. I mean, some of these are collector's edition type things. Some of them were players. And there was even some more. And and that was it. And there was this guy. Now, yep. So we brought some favorites over here. Grab one of those and just let's show them what we got. Look at this bad boy. So a blonde club, right? Oh, we see blonde. And it is a MacGregor tourney. An old MacGregor tourney, and it's a 1. I had 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s all over this thing. And this one says something about velocity on it. MacGregor tourney velocity. And it has the bore through on it right here. So this shaft went all the way through here. Now, the funny part about this, or not so funny part, it still has the original Victory grip on it. I mean, the Victory grip goes back probably 30, 40 years. Yeah. And, we talk about shafts that say they're 335 tip, 350 tip, 340 tip. This was 270.
Oh, my.
It was 270 because it had to get through all of this and then go down into here and still have some meat around it. And if you look, it's even got a pin on it.
Yep.
So these had pins on it. So if you really wanted to take this guy on, that's a pin. And it's a bore through. And you got to wrap it. Takes a lot of patience. And I am sending these whole setup to a guy named David Bass. He's in northern North Carolina. And he happens to have all those patients. He's very, very good at it. So we're sending him a bunch to him. Check out this next thing. Since we're getting into Wilson, this was one I didn't. Look at this bad boy. A 1200 in this one, in this Wilson. And it's in black. Of course, this one does not bore through. So you know it's a little newer. You can tell by the condition too. And the fact this wrapping, it's just staying on here, that's just a testament to how good those guys really were back in the day. And the shaft on this one was called the Wilson V2 R Flex, and it has a serial number on it. I'd hate to see what that looks like. Oh, yeah, I had that one. Here's one that I think a lot of you guys would like. Did you hit this one in here?
No.
Oh, we should have hit that one. The original Cobra Baffler. The original Cobra Baffler. Now, look at this. Look at the rails on that thing. Good gravy. I mean, if you get stuck with this bad boy, you are playing in a swamp. You're playing in a swamp. And it had, again, the guy apparently liked the Victory grips. And as we found out, a lot of them were the original ribbed grips. So they feel like an egg right there.
Mm-hmm.
So you can feel them so it like sets in your fingers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's cool. Now, here's where the discussion starts. We also had one of these bad boys. Look at that. Dyna Power. Let's see if I can get you one without it. I wish I could show you without the reflection. A Dyna Power 6. How about that? The fluid feel, that's going to sound very familiar here tomorrow. The fluid feel head, which is actually at this particular point, I think is an actual bore through. Look how, look at this thing. I'm trying to get it to, here we go. Look at that, look at the toe. You could kill a snake with this thing. And there you go. There's the Dyna Power. So this was right-handed, right? This was right-handed. So I let Bob's right-handed.
Yeah.
So I let him hit it. And so what happened? We started hitting it.
Well, I hit it straight, but didn't go very far.
So here's the thing. So I'm clacking on the computer. He's hitting it. I don't have my my launch monitor on. And he says, man, I'm hitting this pretty good. And he is hitting it right in the dead of the heart of this club. And we're like, wow, look at, this thing, this club is, and it's from the 60s easy. And he's just clobbering it. And I'm like, well, he'd been hitting the other ones. I'd let him hit the blade version, the newer blade. And I said, well, let me put on the machine. And what was the biggest? What was the tallest one we hit? The tallest one you got?
Probably 120.
Yeah, 21 a quarter, right? 1 a quarter with a 6 iron. Okay, with a 6 iron. I let him hit this one just to show you. That was what was on the video on Saturday. By the way, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Where I compare this one in the MB. The MB was awesome, by the way. And what? 25 yards longer.
Yeah.
25 yards longer. So for those guys, we say the technology doesn't move around, and this is a 30-degreer, and that was a 34-degree. Okay, 34-degree. And so that was a whole club softer, whole club softer. So he was basically hitting a 7 iron, compared to this one.
Mm-hmm.
34. Now, if you go to 34 and you go out there, what's a 34 nowadays? It's nowhere near a 6 iron. It's probably closer to a 5 iron is around anywhere from 27 to 24. And you go up 31, 5, 6. It might be a 7 iron. Yeah, about a 7 iron. And you're getting up there. So it does make a difference. Loft is your friend.
Yes.
And enjoy it, right? It was, they're fun to hit. Don't get me wrong. They're fun to hit, but don't expect great things when they're at least a 34 6 iron is easily 3 clubs shorter. Okay. 3 clubs shorter. So that was that one. So before we get started, like and subscribe, hit the bells down below. If you haven't seen the video from Saturday, watch the video from Saturday. And tomorrow, the last of the irons are out. This guy, the Wilson Dyna Power Forged. They got too much light going on, but the Dyna Power Forged. Now, the Dyna Power Forged, we're calling it the Dyna Forged, just because it's easier. The Dyna Forged is a little bit bigger cavity, a little bit stronger in the loft. The sole is not nearly as wide as the previous model, but not by a lot. And it's very, it's got a lot of chrome, so it's very cool to look at, right? And I hit that thing a ton. I really, really did. I don't know if it's just because I hit them last or what it was, but hit them is just fun.
Yeah. What's these little things on the bottom?
So those are called power holes. What he's asking about is that. See these guys right here? Those are power holes, and what they literally are slots in the bottom of the club, because it's not all 100. It's not filled 100%,
mm-hmm.
and so there's slots there, and then they put some urethane or a rubbery plastic coating in there to plug up the hole. And what it does, it makes the face spring.
Yeah.
So it goes boing. So you get ball speed. That's their attempt at getting it for, instead of having an undercut cavity or something along that line. That's how they get it there. So, all righty. So the last part of this, before we start taking questions, we talked about a golf ball comparison. So Bob hit these. That's the staffs, and he also hit these. We both did. So I don't know if there we go. Put it up so we can see it. There we go. We're getting it there. So what this was, that is the regular staff ball, and this is the staff X. Okay. So if you look at it, what it says on the side for the X is a firm feel, a low driver spin, highest scoring iron spin, and then the highest greenside spin. Where the staff is a mid feel, low driver spin. I don't think any golf ball is going to tell you, hey, I spin the hell out of a golf ball with a driver. Rotation is higher, not highest, with a scoring iron, and the green side is highest. So there's a lot going on. So we both hit it. And it was quite the surprise.
Yeah,
it was quite the surprise. So we're going to play this video. It's about 8 minutes long. I put it together of all of us hitting, and then we'll come back to you. So here we go. We're doing a golf ball comparison. It is for the Wilson Staff and the Wilson Staff X. Okay. Now the Wilson Staff is a 4-piece urethane high spin golf ball, where, as I look at the front of my other one, where the other one is a 4-piece urethane golf ball considered to have highest spin. Okay. So on the X ball, from Wilson themselves, is going to have a firm feel. It's going to have a low driver spin, a highest maximum scoring iron spin with the highest greenside spin. Now the regular staff, that was the Staff X. The regular staff has a mid feel sensation, and it has a low driver spin. I think you're going to see that just about on every golf ball. It has a higher, not the highest, but higher scoring average spin, and a greenside spin that says that it is highest. So 2 4-piece balls, one is just more firmer than the other. That's what it comes right down to. So my buddy Bob came over to visit because Penny's birthday, and we're cooking out on the grill, and just enjoyed some pig shots. You'll have to ask me about that one later. And so we decided to work a little bit of it off and hit some golf balls. So as you can see, the Wilson Staff, the Wilson Staff X. So the Wilson Staff, the regular golf ball with the lower compression, actually went about 7 yards further and another 7 yards further. Now the X ball looked like to go straighter on average, swinging within, half a mile an hour of each other, and within a 0.04. So there was an improvement with the staff, better strikes, right? Better ball strikes. And with 6,100 RPM, which is basically just right dead down the center for what you want off of a 6 iron. And this was 58, which was just a hair lower. And when we're talking about it should be spinning higher, it did not. So, and we're talking about, 300 RPM. Everything else is very, 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 very similar. So now let's go see where it went. Alrighty, so this is the staff ball, and we're going to see how these fly. And you see there's one that got away from him, and the rest of them are pretty much going down the same spot. Actually, some pretty good hits, right? Now, if we go to the X ball and we do that, seems to be a little bit all over the place. Now, it wasn't all hit. There was some quality strikes issue, but as a whole, he was hitting it pretty much the same types of swings as before. So not too bad there. All right, so now let's go see where they land. So now we're landing. So the red is the X, the blue is the regular staff model. So let's clean this up a little bit. All righty, so we're going to go up in here. If you notice, out of 6 golf balls, he's all right here. So if we just wanted to pick out one, which was that guy right there, is a night and day appearance, right? Now let's go back and let's just take out that one. So there's 5 golf ball shots apiece. It is undoubtedly which one we're picking.
Oh, yeah.
We're picking the blue one. So now let's go look at the numbers just to see what that did as far as numbers go. Yeah, now we're talking a little bit different, right? So now it's 144 to 149 with the X ball, and almost 157 to 160 with the regular staff ball, swinging again within a mile an hour of each other. And then here's the real big difference now. You're a .06 difference. Now, this is a logarithmic number, and when I tell my golfers here, if we start seeing a .06 or above, it's screaming, how come I'm not in the bag? This is a comparison, okay? These are comparison of these two golf balls. 133 strike is actually pretty good. A 127 strike is good, not as good. Higher spin rate, so you're going to stop the ball. And this one is pretty much about the same, but now instead of being 300, we're closer to 800 RPM difference now, just off of one golf ball. The rollout was only 3 yards, just under 3 yards, whereas just under 5 yards in the other one, and that's all related to spin. Now, if we look, the staff ball went almost 68 foot into the air, where the other one only went about 57 foot in the air. And there's your flight time. All right, it's swinging everything about the same. Now, if we go back and look at it now, and we say, okay, here's the X ball, and it still looks like my shots. It's raining everywhere. All right, and we get here now. Okay, now let's go to the staff ball, and all of a sudden the staff ball is just, it's neat as a pin, landing in about the same area, something very, very, very reliable. So this is really not a hard decision to make. If we were looking at comparing golf balls, the softer golf ball for a guy swinging at right around 82 mile an hour, bottom of the regular range, that the softer model actually worked this time.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's where we go with that one. So that's where you like doing these golf ball comparisons when you do the fitting. You hit it better, you hit it straighter, you hit it with more spin, just a little lower flying. So that's for Bob. So, and we're going to talk about this more when on the live stream in comparison, so ask your questions. All right, let's go check me out. Okay, for me, a little different animal. Now, what I had done earlier is I hit 8 shots because 2 of them were extraordinarily poor. I hit about 4 or 5 inches behind the ball. It just was awful. So I hit 2 more just to get up there with it, and I took out those bad ones, and this is what we've got. All right, so basically they're the exact same golf ball, one being a yard's difference between the two, swinging literally within 1/3 of a mile per hour. Hit the X ball maybe just a tick better, and the swing within, 33 RPM. Man, this is going to be a tough one to call. Same height, literally the same everything as you go across. So that is super duper cool. Now, how did they land? Right there. So at first glance, you would think that the red one is a little bit better because it's a little narrower. But if you look, and it could be, it's only an average difference of 419 versus 550 on the blue. So if we look at a single club, there's that one. And just like we did for Bob, I'm going to eliminate one. We're going to take out that guy. Which one was that, you suppose? The very last one. So we got that one. Now let's take one out for the staff ball. And that one's going to be kind of a tough call. Let's just take that one. What do you think? That one? That one looks like the shortest of the clan. And all of a sudden, there you go. So now we really didn't do ourselves any favors. They're both pretty tight. Let's go look. Okay, they're both pretty tight. Let's see how they fly. So here's the staff ball. And a little pull on the inside, like that's my traditional ball flight. And they land out nice, tight little pattern. Looking very, very good. All righty. Now we look at the X ball. The X ball looks at just a little bit, doesn't look as sharp, does it? So your difference between that guy or that guy. That's what it's coming down to, is where it's landing. Like that or like that. Now that we've taken them out, and we took that one, we never really did go look, and virtually identical. What are you going to do? And 130 and some change RPM difference, literally hit the same. I got like a, what is that? I literally got a half a yard of rollout more with the staff ball. The X ball went just a hair further. They're giving it the nod for some reason, and everything else is looking very, very similar. So now the question is, which one are you picking? Are you picking that landing pattern? Or are you picking that landing pattern?
Well, for me, I'd go that one.
Me too. Alrighty, so there's the golf ball. It was a lot of fun to try out. And so you're talking about, what we didn't go over was the compression on this ball. The staff ball was 94. Okay, 94. This one, however, is almost, what did I tell you it was? 104?
Yeah.
I think it was 104. Might be on the back. It was higher by quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I think it's 104. I don't think they're going to go into 114. I think that'd be ridiculously hard. So when you hit it, what did you think?
The staff, that one. No,
The black one?
the black one.
Mm-hmm.
It just felt so much better than that one for me, because it felt like hitting a rock. And this one stayed pretty much on line for where I hit it. So I'm sold on this ball right here.
And when I hit it too, there is something to be said about a feel difference, right?
Yeah.
So my performance was a little bit different, and again, I'm not swinging very much faster than he is. If you look, on average, mine was just a little faster, but not by a bunch. But what it was is, I probably in there had some that were probably a lot faster than some that were not. And that's the reason why I got where I was at. But I hit mine. I found mine in Little Center maybe a little bit better. That's 130 versus 134. That's not a tremendous amount. 127 versus 134 is. That's smash factor. And that's just a little bit more into the center of the club. But you were spinning it way better than I was.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all these things to consider. But when it comes right down to it, when it comes to feel, right, from the Wilson Rep, they made these, the original staff models, a little softer. That 94, 95 it seems to be a sweet spot for a lot of golfers. And it felt better, right? And just like Bob said, the X ball is very, very firm. Very, 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 very firm. So what does that mean? That means you better have some swing speed to make that thing work.
Yeah.
That's what happens. So for me, they were very, very close. For Bob, it was an obvious choice, to be sure.
Oh, easy.
And if you took somebody that was another 10 mile an hour faster than me, it would probably flip and look just like what you had, where the X ball did very, very well, and the regular ball would spin out of sight and just fall short. So it's important to find those. Now, as I understand it, Wilson, you have to go check, and I'm not going to throw it all the way out there. Well, yes, I am. There is a golf ball promotion for these guys out right now, just so you know. Yes, I'm a Wilson dealer, but for golf balls, go to the website, right? I'd love for you to order them for me, but go to the website. And they have a golf ball promotion. I think it's buy one, get one, or buy two, get one free. I'd like to buy one, get two free. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah.
But buy two, get one free. And they come in a white and they come in a yellow if you want a color. The other part, now there is a lot of other technology that's going on that we're not going to cover because this was a golf ball comparison. I will have a video out later on in the week on this where we go a little bit more in depth on it so that you can see this one. All right, so You wanted to see, like, so here's a little bit better. There's the model, the staff model and the X model, just so you can tell the difference. Now, from a look-see, this is the staff model. I'll give you a quick look here. Staff model, X model, staff model, X model. Can you tell the difference? Can you tell the difference? Real quick, you sharp individuals, I know you could find it. It's the color of the number. The X's are red, the regulars are black. So there you go. All right, one last thing that we were talking about that was in that video were pig shots and what we had yesterday. So yesterday was Penny's birthday. She's 29 again for the how many time?
It's 2.
And this is what they look like. They're pig shots. And what that is a piece of smoked sausage with bacon wrapped around it, and it's stuffed with cream cheese, and some jalapenos, and you put it on the smoker for a while and cook it up. Wow, really, really good. But the main course was some prime rib.
Yes.
We cooked up some prime rib on the Rectech, and it was definitely something to eat. I don't think there's ever going to be a bad prime rib, maybe over or undercooked, but I don't think it'll ever be bad. So
very
good. So that's what we're doing. Oh, some real work that I actually did. I ground this is not the only thing, obviously. We got a lot going on, but I wanted to show you this. I had a customer ask me to grind a wedge. He said it had too much bounce, and when you look at it, right where you see all that, where it's satiny and kind of got grain, right there is where I took it all off, every bit of it, right there in the middle. And so what it did in the wedge, this is not let's use the bigger, wider one. So in this wedge from Vokey, what they had is the bounce was very pronounced going this way, and then it drops off going towards the back. So it'd be like this, go up, and then off to the back. And he said it had too much bounce, and you could see it. You could see where it's at. So I drew a circle around that ledge, and I just knocked that thing off. And then I dressed up the bottom of it so that we could get it so he can go back. We did some other stuff, some gripping and some bending and stuff. He was a gentleman, I believe he was in Maryland. So we're going up there. All right, so we got through all that. Here we go. All the way to the top. Matt. There's Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Matt says, no rounds. Does anyone else play one type of ball? I play Chrome Soft TrueViz after his recommendation from Jim. Hope to listen, but heading to soccer. There you go. So what's the plan here? What are you going to do now that we've tested this and tell them what you play now, and then what do you think?
I was playing the Srixon, but it was kind of all over the map. But that staff ball is just, it's right dead online.
So did it what? Now he's talking about the Srixon Q Star,
yes.
Not the Z Star, the Q Star, or the VXW, or whatever they want to call them, XYZ. So what was the difference do you remember the difference in the feel? Did one feel softer or better than the other?
Oh yeah, that never felt a lot softer.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
I thought so.
Because the Q Star is what we call the second tier, and it's supposed to be a little bit softer, yep. Right? And so there you go. So maybe Wilson found something under the hood this year. We'll have to see. All right. Of course, I play the Chrome Soft Max LS because I just overspin the ball just so much, and because I chop wood. Well, here as of late, I've been not. So this one feels pretty good. We're going to try out the other Callaway one. That's the new Callaway ones that are coming out once we get there. All righty. Emmanuel. Good evening, Jim, and all the rest of us professional fitters here. I play the Pro V1X all year round. Manuel, you are the man. If you can play the X ball, dude. Yeah. And I did watch. Let's see if I can see your. Let's see. Okay, there wasn't the other one. So I did watch the video that you asked me about. Emmanuel sent me a link to a video on how Club Champion puts together golf clubs. And it's just it's about what was it, Manuel? About a 2-3 minute, it's just a real quick video of somebody at Club Champion putting a golf club together.
Mhm.
And we assemble them one at a time. Well, yeah, we all do. But so as far as technique goes, it was fine. There were some things that they do that I probably would not do. But one of the questions that Emmanuel had was, so what was happening is they would abrade the tip. Good, that's a good thing. And then they would take a hosel brush on a drill and clean out the hosel. Another good thing. And then they took acetone and they wiped off the end of the tip just to make sure all the dirt is free of dirt. I don't know why people do that, but again, I'm not going to take away from that. And then they did it down into the hosel in order to get the remaining dirt. Because dirt particles can be in a way to allow the epoxy not to bond if there's a lot of it. But if you've already hit it with that bristle brush, I would say the 98% of them, 99% of it is all gone. Now, that's cool and everything, but there's also a limit to that. When you put acetone, acetone's a cleaner, right?
Mhm.
So, and it evaporates. And so what you got to do is give it lots of time to evaporate so there's no residue, so the club wants to actually adhere itself to each other. That's the real issue. Now, what Emmanuel was asking me is that, so when you get to the glue, like we all have our techniques, and I'm not going to say any one of them is wrong. We all have our techniques. I put mine on the tip, and I use the tip as a brush to get the inside done. That's what I do. Now, have I put glue down the hosel like they do? A lot of them, you'll see it on the like the tour vans. They'll put it in the hosel and they'll put it right on. Yeah, I've done that, and I do it when the hosel's kind of a funky, maybe smaller shape, or I don't want, I just got to get glue into a certain spot, but it's rare. And so the builder put it in the hosel and put a lot on the tip, and it was a lot. And then out of nowhere starts putting centering beads down the hosel. That was a big question. Again, I'm not going to say it's good, bad, or in between. I'm just going to say it is, let's call it unique, okay? Because typically, if you're putting in centering beads, you would want to put it into the epoxy as you're mixing it around. So when you're spreading the epoxy, that the centering beads go on the top with the idea of going around. Could you do it the other way and it work? Apparently, because that's what they're doing. But to put it in the bottom, or when you put it in there, you have to make a couple of assumptions. One, that it's actually going to find itself adhering, or you're going to get some sort of stirring. Because in my opinion, I see it gently catching on the sides and most of it going to the bottom. And then you got to spin it around. Then he wipes it off and sets it off, and everything else is good from there. So, Emmanuel, the rest of it, I saw there was some time wasting going on, but as a whole, I would not do that down the hosel. I don't know why. It doesn't make sense to me to do that, but all the rest of it was just fine. All righty. Charlie, he plays the Z ball to your cue ball. Yeah. Charlie saying hello. My dog Rex. He's all in there with the thumbs up. And again, if you do it, like, subscribe, hit that bell across the bottom so now that Bob and I can get out to the YouTube universe. Mr. Moody, how are you, sir? All right. Emmanuel saying, when TM launched the slider driver, they touted 1,700 spin, 17 degrees dynamic loft. Is this still relevant, as most REMs recommend 10 to 12, 2,500? Is it attainable for most amateurs? 1,700 spin is actually quite low, Emmanuel. It can be attained. You can, with a combination of a particular kind of head and a particular kind of ball. For instance, I just received a Mizuno ST Max, I believe is what it was. And Mizuno is a known spin killing ball. Why is that? Because, and I will use one of these highly technical golf clubs that I've got right here. And if you look, they used to do that here. So it's not even in the era of these golf clubs, they were doing it here as well. If you were told the guy that you were spinning the ball too much, he'd pop off this sole plate, drill you a couple of holes that were near the face, throw in some lead, put the thing back on there, and send you on your way. So when you move the weight closer to the face, it takes down the spin. When you use a particular kind of ball, depending on your angle of attack and how you get down through it, and you match up that ball, your spin can go very, very low. 1700 is extraordinarily low, particularly when you hit it with 17 degrees of launch. It's going to look like a 5 would, only it's not spinning. I would say the 10 to 12 and 25 is pretty much a sweet spot for most people. Okay. There's Robin. She's talking to them all. Talking back. There we go. Have you got any Cleveland Classics in that pile? Did you see any Clevelands?
No, I didn't see no Clevelands.
I don't think I saw there now. No, we saw a lot of HBs, but that's not Cleveland. That's almost Louisville Slugger type stuff. The Heidrich Bradsbury, whatever they used to call them. There were some of those, but no Cleveland Classics, sir. There we go. There's Cam. What do you think? Good evening. Listening in and welding probes for NASA. Well, there's something. What are you doing? I'm welding probes for NASA.
Yeah.
And listening to a golf guy talk. And while I'm doing it. And while you're at, and I thought you were in Canada. That's kind of unique. Well done, buddy. There's Everyday Golfer saying good day to us.
Australia.
Yep. And he's got the Lego golfer. Lego golfer. That's cool. So it's in the morning over there.
Is it really?
It's virtually the opposite. So It's early morning for him. Where our friends from Scotland, it's like almost midnight. Past my prime. He's back. Hello all. Looks like golf weather in Central Illinois Thursday are going to try if the course dries out. Have you looked that far to see whether or not it's going to be nice this week?
It's supposed to rain about every day.
That's what I thought. So apparently Illinois is the one that's getting it. Oh, Charlie, I forgot to tell you. Michter's. This is Michter's Sour Mash. Okay. Let's see. The Wilson 1200 is a layered club. It's not a solid persimmon. You are correct, sir. It most certainly is. Much like the baffler. You see the lines? And now we look back to the tourney like he was talking about. So it looks like a whole head. All right? They look like a whole head.
My dad played them.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So how these are made, the last place I ever watched these made was a place called Louisville Golf.
Really?
Yeah, they still make the wooden heads. And make it very simplistic. You remember how they used to make car keys, where you'd put a master in there. You had the same kind of key, and it'd go up by the cutter, and you would move it around, and it would, you cut the same key. So what they had were these lathes, and you'd have this block of persimmon, just a solid block of persimmon, and then you would have what they called a rough mold. And it wasn't nearly as fine as that. It was just a really rough shape. And they put that in the middle, and this thing would ride across it. It would ride across it, and as it would ride across it, the cutters on the lathe would cut this thing out. And it would do like 4 or 5 at a time. And then what you do is you take out the rough cut, and then you would put in the finer cut, which would give you the pretty close to the shape you were looking for. And you'd put that in there, and it would take you down. So now you had a whole bucket of these shafts or these heads, whole bunch of these heads that would look like this, and it'd go way up here and have this big knob down here.
Yeah.
And so they would just hack that thing off, and they'd hack that thing off, and then that's where skill started showing up. These guys have club making game. And this guy is just on a sander, just to getting it, and he's sanding it into a shape. And then to put these grooves in,
Mm-hmm.
that's cut with that's cut. Depending on the manufacturer, it used to have however many lines there were. They had saw blades about the size of a nickel.
Really?
And this guy would line it up, and he would go,
By hand?
rope, and he would just do it by hand,
Oh my goodness.
straight through. Now, this guy at Louisville Golf, there was only one, and this guy would eye it, and he would put 5 or 6 lines in the face and just get it.
Wow.
That's all he did. And then, of course, then you cut it off, you drill it out, and then you get to the face. There was another cutting where another lathe where it would cut out the face, and it would also cut this piece out. And then what you would do is you would weight it however you wanted it weighted, and you would screw this thing onto the bottom with some glue. And then this was a whole nother animal. This was a plasti resin,
Uh-huh.
and you would put these boats around them, and you'd fill them up, and then you'd sand them down and make them nice and smooth, and then run the thing across them. So there was Forged has absolutely nothing on the skill set it takes to make one of those. Very cool. All righty. Charlie says his old golfing buddy from the Navy days played the 1200s woods and irons. Those are nice, man. For some reason, those have quite the following, Charlie. I don't know. They're very, very cool. I think the Wilsons also had 1200 Gear Effect irons. They most certainly did. Charlie, you could kill a few below. Yeah, no doubt. So what's the oldest? Did you ever cut the golf balls open when they were younger?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Whatever did you find in them?
Rubber bands.
Yep. Did you ever get into the core?
Yeah.
What did you ever find in the
It
core?
just looked like a hard piece of rubber to me.
They had some that had liquid centers,
Yeah.
and you would cut them and they go everywhere. I've had guys tell me that they have found a nut in it.
Really?
A nut. And I'm like, oh, that's crap. He didn't tell me that. But yeah, they told me that they'd find a nut in those things. And the Balata ball. Can you imagine that? What was everybody had to have? That was when Titleist was, man, they were it. If you were golfing, you had to have a Titleist golf ball with that Balata cover on it.
Where's that one? This one here?
Yeah.
The ones I hit would have had big smiley faces on the Balata ball.
Oh, yeah. That was their thing. Everyday golfer. He has a set of Gary Player anvils. The driver, 3, 4, and 5, all carbon blockhead, bronze. Wow. And the boron shafts. Yeah. Looking for a putter to match. Those are bad to the bone, man. Gary Player was one of the first guys that really took on like a graphite shaft. He was sponsored by Shakespeare, which was the fishing pole.
Yeah.
And at one point they decided they were going to get in the golf shafts. And he used to the story was that he would have to bring 3 sets of clubs with him in every tournament, because in every round he was going to be breaking one. Wow. That's how brittle they were back in the day. And they weren't graphite. They were literally carbon fiber. And I know it sounds, they're the same. Well, not really. It was basically a fishing pole. And it was really quite cool. There's Frank from Cleveland. How you doing, buddy? There's Mr. Anderson. That's another one that's staying way up late from a very wet Dysart, Scotland. Thank you for staying up, Jim. Appreciate it. That's way past both of our bedtimes.
Yeah, for sure.
Was there a difference in the shafts? Which ones, Charlie? If you're talking about what he and I were hitting, I used the same shaft on both heads, so that we were just testing the head, and then we were we were using the same golf club on the balls, but when we were playing around, we'd just shift the head on the same shaft. I was looking at this one. This one doesn't have a shaft band on it anymore. Okay. I have an old Power Built Citation Persimmon. Great clubs. Now there are some out there. We saw some of the power builds,
Yeah.
and some of them were citations. They're going to be really nice, and when they're all cleaned up well. Dynaforge, Charlie, Dynaforge, buddy. So the Dynaforged, again, like it was in the forged face into a body with a large cavity back. This is basically a badge, right? But if you look at it, there's a little bit of room over here. It's going over some weight. It's got the power holes. 6 iron is around 27.5, which is, it's a little strong, but not real bad. And very little offset. Just what I think, Charlie, and I'll have to look at the other one, is I think the sole got a little bit narrower. I can't prove it to you, but I think it did. And the top line on it just got really nice, right? And dude, I hit it pretty good. I have to say, I hit it pretty good. It's among now these were 6 irons, and it was among one of the furthest ones. Obviously, it should be because it was lower lofted, but hit it pretty good. All righty. There's Peter. Remember Peter? Myrtle Beach?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Peter.
Happy New Year to you too, and to you, Bob.
Yes.
Very good. Peter sent me a couple of pictures of him and his wife, and they were out there and about and looking like a good couple. All right. Are the Dynapower Forge stronger lofts than the D4s? I'm going to assume that's maybe the other D7s. Probably D7s. I'm going to have to check, Charlie, but if they are, it's by a very little bit. But sir, I would imagine yes for the 7s. The 9s would be pretty close. Charles, the 1200s were the best in the 80s. They were pretty easy to hit. I could see why. If you look at this one, I just thought it was cool that they took the time. You see the 1200 in there?
Yep.
They took the time to put 1200 in the face. I mean, come on. If that's not cool, I don't know what is. All right. There's Krister. Krister's from Sweden.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's up at night.
Yeah. A little warmer, but still snowy. So how did that, didn't you say you were going for a fitting, Krister? Or to go check out some other clubs? Let us know. Back then I was playing Hogan Apex Red Lines. Ooh, very nice. There's Charlie saying hello. Any new clubs this week? That's what I was just getting ready to ask him. Oh, yes, and the Rams and Yonex irons. There you go. That's a new one. Oh, yeah, and the other one, hand me the iron. So what we're going to do on this iron, this is going to be a kind of a project. This one is I actually shined it up earlier, but I've got an entire set of these guys. An entire set. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean them up. I'm going to make them look real pretty. And they have the original Golf Pride wrap on them, the original Golf Pride. And they're actually in really good shape. They got some DGS 300s on them. And, oh, my gosh. You could cut. When they say butter knife, they're not kidding, are they?
Nope.
And I'm going to clean them up, and then I'm going to give them away. So we'll have to have some sort of giveaway on it. We've got to figure out how are we going to give these away? How are we going to give away? A kid that maybe is going to get ready to get started. He probably hate me for life. Or somebody that's got that has been looking for these Dynapowers and it's got some sort of sentimental attachment.
See something I'd like to see them on the new clubs is them numbers. They're big
how
enough
big?
to see.
Yeah. Look at that. That's a 6 iron from hell right there, man. I do like that. That old school that would look really nice. So we're going to do something. I haven't quite figured it out. We got to think about that, how we're going to give them away. What's a couple of criteria? Brendy Brown, what do you say, sir? Jim, as a lefty, do you find it awkward working on right-handed clubs? Not anymore, buddy. In the day, yes. Not anymore. Now it's awkward to work on left-handed clubs. And that's just over time, right? It's about, 90%, 95% of all the clubs I work on are right-handed. And the thing is, I'm left-eye dominant. So everything I can see is like I'm seeing like a right-hander is. I'm just left-handed. So it works out pretty good for me. Cam loves the triad ball. You know what? I liked it too. It's not getting the love, Ever since Manilow stopped talking about him, I don't know what's happening. The golfing ball. Here we go. Jim, you ever had a driver deliver over a 1.5 smash factor? 159. Now that's a little high, bud, but I've seen 152. That's max I've ever seen. 159. Wow. Man, I'd like to see, man, come down there and visit that golf exchange, man. Matter of fact, I need that guy to give me a call if you get to talk to him and see if he wants me to come down there and visit that golf show again. Man, that sounds like a heck of a shot. Now I will say, so high smash factors are easy to get when the swing speed is lower.
Really?
Yeah, because it's the difference between club head speed and ball speed. So when you're swinging really, 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 really fast, it's really hard for the golf ball to get get that much faster off of there because of the physical aspect of the. Did that just happen? What happened? Oh, you know what happened? Hold on a minute.
What, did it move?
Yeah, it moved on me.
Really?
Yep, it moved on me. Let's do this. There we go. Oh, now it's going to look at you. Let's do this. There we go. So, but as you get lower, the spring effect of the club takes into account, and it gets a little higher. It's not too bad. Michael Moody, funny you should mention Ram. I hit a Ram 2-iron on the North Pole one year. Charlie's a Submariner.
Is he?
Yes, and that was one of the things you earned your stripes if you would go to the North Pole and you would break through the ice and you would walk on the ice. There's all kinds of stories out there, but you didn't go out there for very long, if I remember correctly. Now my boat did it too, but I wasn't on it when they did it. Very cool though. So Krister's been testing all the new drivers and the 1-year-old Titleist TSR2. There's little or no difference between them this year. I will hit the 9-degree again. All right. There's Mr. Jones. How are you, sir? Thank you for watching. It sounds like, Charlie, Wednesday is going to be it because he's talking about hitting it one more time. We'll probably hit it. He says, I'll order TSR 3, 16, TSR 21s with the graphite design AD7X. There you go. We expect good things, Krister. We expect good things. There you go. Along with a bag and hat. Charles Bartholomew, I will do more comprehensive tests with the TSR on Wednesday, where I'll test different settings, and the standard is an autopilot with a fade. There you go. Brody, too bad more companies don't put path alignments on their balls like the PX or the TrueViz. Yeah, so the TrueViz itself, Brody, is the soccer ball look, right? But what you're talking about is probably like Chrome Soft or the Chrome Soft X with the lines. Mm-hmm. Bob really liked those. Yeah. And what was that one with the wide line that you like using?
That was
it a TaylorMade ball?
Yeah, it was TaylorMade. Had a
looked like a doggone tire stripe on the whole way around.
Really helped me.
So Bob puts the lights out anything he looks at anyway, but he would pull out this ball and it had a stripe on it about at least a third to half as wide as the golf ball. Yeah. and he would line this thing up and he's got the Makefield putter, and he'd hit this thing, and he was 40 foot away. And I just turn around like, well, I might as well walk to the hole and just go pick it up for him. And off he goes, and he drops it in the hole. And I'm just like, yeah, and he's walking up like it's no big deal. And I'm looking at him like, yeah, I've only seen this about 100 times. Not a big deal. However, when we get in the 3 foot range, I make him putt him.
Yeah.
Everybody else, that'd be a gimme range for a guy that drops 40 footers like they're free. Nope, he's putting 3 footers. That's my only hope right there. It was pretty good, but he had but getting to what Brody was talking about, the alignment lines, right? They had the blue stripe with the red stripe with there's the optical lines that they had on them, and then the picks. Now the picks is the other one. The picks is the triangles, so those had a different look. Now, when they rolled, you could tell almost immediately if you're off and on, because that pattern would start really going funky on you. But yeah, I like and the funny part is I like the soccer ball look.
Yeah.
I like the soccer ball look. I like in the different colors. I got a collection of a bunch of them, and but they just made it in the chrome soft, of which I just spun clean out of sight, so I really couldn't use it. Michael Moody says, I was selling clubs in a golf store called Chuck Brown. Okay. It's a Canadian one. So Bartholomew, he's certainly going to get a Titleist hat and already gaming the AVX indoor. Yeah, but that's a simulator one. What are you going to hit outside, man? So the AVX, what he's saying right there, the RTC, that's the AVX, the RTC has got how like we put the dots on ours here so that the machine, it's a special golf ball that
comes with it?
Yeah, that has a thing on the inside so that it can get tracked.
Really?
Yeah, because so the radar units penetrate the golf ball, just like radar does, right? And what it does, it sees it, and then it can tell what it's doing while it's in there. Where these other ones, I just put the little dot on it. All right. Heard good things about the Wilson Zip golf balls, 2-piece and with a soft feel. Bill, I would love to tell you I know about them, but I just do not. So what do you guys, if you know something about golf balls, this is a 4-piece construction golf ball. And there's no picture for me to show you. It's a 4-piece golf ball. And I've always wondered about this, and I should ask the guys about it. Is a 4-piece golf ball better than 2-piece? Or is a 4-piece better than a 3-piece? Is a 3-piece better than a 2-piece?
I don't know.
Me either. If you guys know, let us know, man. All righty. Brody saying hello. P. Funk Chang, what do you say, dude? Just installed Tour Lock Pro Weights on the back of all my clubs. Have you tried this? What are your thoughts? I have, as a matter of fact. I have tried them when they were so Tour Lock was the competition to balance certified. Those little weights you put in the back of the club. And for a driver, I had one in the back of my driver. In fact, to this day, I have a 5-wood that I absolutely would cream. And I do not, and it still have it in my bag, or in a secondary or tertiary bag. Tertiary bag. And I used to hit the crud out of it. And somewhere out of nowhere, I lost my fairway wood swing, I guess. And it has one in the back. Hit the tar out of this thing. And I did do some testing. And what I have found is, so when you put that weight on the back, it puts more weight in the hands, right? More weight in the hands. So if you're kind of an aggressive guy, you can bring that thing and just whip it right around. It gives you a little more club head speed. Now, you might actually like it. For a smoother guy, a guy that's a little bit, just very rhythmic, probably wouldn't like it. So there's go. So like, how you like the big grips and that weight in your hands?
Yeah.
It'd be akin to that, only you could put a regular grip on it. Bill Nauman saying hit them thumbs up. All right, no, what's he saying? He's clapping. All right, he's clapping. All righty, Jim, what are your thoughts on the mid 100 shaft? You know, as much as I'd like to give it down the road, Charlie, I hit one of those mid 115s or was it 115? Yeah, it was in one of the irons that I hit. And in the comparison, it was in the Mizuno Club, and I thought this thing was going to be a brick, and it wasn't. It actually hit better. I was quite surprised. So a slightly smoother club. I tend to the shaft did exactly what we asked it to go do. You know, so that was what we were looking at there. So you carry graphite in all yours.
Yep.
But you hit this thing and you like the feel.
Yep.
Why?
It didn't go very far, but it went straight.
Yes, it did.
That's
didn't
what
it?
I liked about it. But I don't know. Oh, I know what it was. It was because of the head was heavier. Remember me telling you about that?
It felt heavier, right?
Yeah.
The whole club felt heavier.
Yep.
So we'll have to look at that. Maybe that whole weight thing might be a deal for you.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll just maybe we'll take a little bit of tape and see whether or not that does something for you, the little lead tape on the back.
That'd be a good idea.
And then see whether or not we can do that. So we got experiments going on already. Yeah, that was Club Jet. We're going to experiment. We're in. All right. Michael just installed an old ProForce V2 on a Stealth, and I was smoking it. What an inexpensive good shaft. And it was. So if you remember, the ProForce was a UST shaft.
Yeah.
And it was when they had purple and gold was all the rage. That was 20 plus years ago. To regain a little bit of foothold in the market, they had the ProForce V2, which was black and gold.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was a much softer. They knew that purple and gold was just too much, and they softened it down. And it was a good shaft, Michael. And then they have the V2 High Launch, which means it was a little bit softer in the tip section. Very, very nice. Peter got it right. Red numbers versus the black. You can't get past a Navy guy. I did buy some golf shoes, some Skechers, Go Golf, Arch Fit, really nice. Well, so Krister's a walker, so he needs all the soft shoe he can get.
Yeah.
Good for him. All right. We saw Peter. He was playing the Pro V X. Okay. Steven, what do you say, bud? Ball of choice for me has been the Vice Pro Wilson Triads once the weather here in Tennessee gets better. I think so too, man. I think so too. Oh, forgot to tell you, we're going on a golf trip. We're going back down to Gulf Shores. So any of you guys got a place that you prefer down in Gulf Shores, let us know, because we're about a week away from having to make the reservations.
Mm-hmm.
And we went looking. We saw Peninsula Golf Club. We like that one.
Yep.
And then there was the
what was that one way north? It was about an hour.
Oh, that was that Glen Lakes or something like that. There was
Yeah.
another one way out there. Kiva Dunes we liked.
Yep.
We liked those two. But there was one that was from the shoreline going into inland. It was about 50 minutes to an hour.
Yep.
And there was a Glen Lakes, and there was another one that looked really good.
Yeah.
If you guys have been to that, let us know. There's Robin talking back to him. There's Al from the Space Coast. He lives down in Daytona Beach area. Hope as well. Well, you got the warm part, not so much, dude. It was 37 degrees up here by the car. Lawrence, what do you say, dude? Nebulous Jim would cover the epoxy technique. Yeah. Nebulous is a good term, buddy. It is a good term whatsoever. What are we doing? There we go. Look at that. Way better. So I don't have to lean way over like this. Okay. Wouldn't 1700 spin just call the ball to fly out of the sky? Sounds a little too low on the outside. No, Charlie, what it'd probably do is it a little bit lower and it hit a knuckle. It'd be akin to hitting a knuckleball. if it would fall out of the sky, basically, if you're spinning it too much, it would, you hit those shots that just kind of go and they look like they're held up under the wind and then they just die straight down. That's too much spin. Now, the 1700 spin, if you didn't hit it very high, would certainly come out of the sky, because spin actually helps keep the ball aloft, right? And you got to find that launch angle versus spin rate. And what he said earlier was probably the right answer. Krister says TSR is at 9 degrees. Lauren saying hi to Robin. Playing the Spalding Monitor 2-piece 85 compression ball because I can afford to lose golf balls. Why not? Good answer, dude. Good answer. Here we go. We had frozen ground with snow and rain on top. It's warmed up, but now it's waiting for the ground to thaw enough to absorb the moisture. That's about what we're at.
Yeah, definitely.
So Bob works at a local golf course, or does. So when do they normally go back out and actually start cutting? Do they tell you?
Probably 1st of April.
1st of April?
It just depends on the weather.
Right.
Yeah.
If it decides to get warm and dry, then they call you earlier.
Yeah.
So about 1st of April for us out here, because we have a truckload of clay. And the clay loves to keep it doesn't like giving up the moisture that much. And it gets kind of spongy, particularly the hilly golf courses. Oh, my goodness gracious. They're pretty good. Scott Gordon, what do you say, sir? I play the Callaway ERC Soft and have played about every major brand, but always go back to the Callaway. Too much snow in here in Idaho. I'd get you, brother. Do have a tee time for indoors. Now, the ERC is not a bad ball. You've played it.
Yep.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I did.
So better than the Srixon ball?
I don't know. I go where
it goes wherever they go.
Yeah.
The ERC ball is actually quite nice, Scott. I call it like a junior Chrome Soft. It's just a small tick below the Chrome Soft, and it's really, really nice. Swing is playing the Pro V and the AVX ball. That's some good choices. There's Dan. Hope everything's going well. Things are getting a little crazy in Duluth due to tax season. You are getting close, aren't you, bud? Thankfully, I have a nice distraction with my new wedges. We finally got the last one out, too. I'm glad. So Dan got a set of raw wedges, and he's done 2 of them now. And Dan's a ball striker, and he likes the raw wedges. He likes the fact that they patina. Jason says he's got a McGregor Iomatic driver and a Tommy Armour PGA fairway wood. Old Snam Sneed Blue Ridges, though the sandwich and the Cushnet Bullseye flange putter. So what I didn't tell you, but did you see that little putter laying on the ground?
Yeah.
That thing is awful. But it had the old I called it the old Coke bottle grip, where it would come in and then it would go back out and then come back down.
Yeah.
Those putters are illegal. Those putter grips are illegal, by the way. So if you have any, don't put them on, unless you're putting them on for aesthetics and you're going to put it up on the wall. But yeah, those things were sweet. Talking about old irons, he had some Slazengers. Look at that. Trevor says his first ever set was Wilson Blades. Man,
wow.
Here we go. That's what we're talking about right here, dude. Wilson Staff Blades. I don't know if these are, you call these staff. Do they say staff on them? They do say staff on them. Dynapower staff. I think these are circa 60s, mid 60s. Good God, man.
Yeah.
That's like 60 years old. Wow. Swinging says of Game Wilson Tour Blades FG 49s from 89 for a half a season. Ooh, I bet that didn't last very long. Could you imagine?
No.
No. Could you imagine? I mean, really, this thing right here would be like hitting an 8 iron, right? So you got your 6 iron, you're going to hit the 8. You better bring the 2 with you just in case.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious! I bet this thing. Now, back in the day, also, the standard length of a 5-iron was not 38 inches like it is now. It was 37 and a half.
Really?
Yeah. So it's kind of it's unique how people have figured out you got taller, you need a longer club. RSG from St. Louis. Been freezing here, so have we, brother. But when we play in our winter league, it seems to warm up. Like this coming weekend, good Lord wants us to play gold. There we are, golf. There you go. Take it while you can get it, man. Give nothing back. Here we go. First ever woods were Wilson Steph left-handed 3-wood and a 4-wood. Still have them. Nice. Well done, Wayne. What's Jim say? Eric Brown Swilken matched woods and irons. Swilken. Eric Brown Swilken. Well, the Swilken's from the Swilken Bridge. Eric Brown. I've never heard of him.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Jason saying howdy to Robin. His first driver was a Bertha 12 degree. He had to take over at his dad's. Yeah. You know, I remember the big. I got a big Bertha. I got the Hawkeye. I refinished a Hawkeye. I actually painted it with the powder coat.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember having a big Bertha, and those things were like this big around.
Yeah.
And that guy showed up with the greatest big Bertha. It was like a softball on a stick. It was like this big around. We're like, what is that? And he just swung as hard as he damn well pleased and would just find the face somewhere. And it would go, and it would just go. JP, what do you say, sir? And he says he'll check. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. Really like the staff golf balls. They don't seem to spin much like the Titleist with the short irons. You know, if I was doing it correctly, I'd probably get a few shorter irons out and I'd try and hit them as well just to see what we would get. But we were hitting 6 irons. I figure it's almost middle of the road, so to kind of give us what we were wanting. And again, I like the regular staff, man. With the lowering of the compression, I think we're doing pretty good. Talking about woods from the 90s, he had a Browning Eclipse. I remember that. Do you ever see the Browning Club?
No.
So Browning made outdoor equipment, actually may have made a gun.
Gun, yeah.
And they got into much like Ruger. Ruger used to make some drivers.
Did they really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they made some drivers. And actually, they were really quite nice. But the Brownings, the irons, I've had several sets of the Browning irons come through here.
Wow.
Yeah, people still playing. Which golf ball would be a choice for an 85-mile-an-hour swing speed? I use the Pro V as a favorite. Well, Johnny, he said 82. You saw 84, 85 right here, and we both like this one the best. It's the staff model. Now, we both have I also have other favorites to be sure. Bob played the Q Stars.
Q-Star, yeah.
He played the Q Stars, and I play the Max LS just for a lowering of the spin. From a feel perspective, I like the Chrome Softs, but I spin them too much. Now, I have tried the Q Stars. The Q Stars are very nice.
Yeah. I like the ERCs.
ERC is a good one.
Yeah.
Now, did you ever get a chance to hit the Triad? Remember the Triad
I
week?
think you give me a couple of them, but
they didn't last very long. We were not having a very good golf day.
I think maybe you give them to me down there in Alabama, where the wind was howling like 50 mile an hour.
Yep. And they're just holding up on the spin, but yeah. All righty. So Dan's going to tell us right here. He heard. All right. 4-piece is better than 3. The more layers, the better. Well, okay. Layers are about spin separation. You can get spin the golf ball with wedges, low speeds, keep them low, high speed driver. Okay. So each one of the what he's saying is you got the core, several mantles, and then the cover.
Mm-hmm.
And the cover helps with spin to an extent, but each one of the mantles, they compress in different ways. So that if the driver's hitting it, it goes a little deeper. If the wedge is hitting it, don't. And that's how they're getting it there. Would you stop? It saw me holding up. Let's get this. There we go. Oh, really? There we go. Every time I hold my hand up, it thinks I'm signaling it. All right. So how many rounds have Jim played this year? I wonder if he still has his rangefinder. Well, that is one. We haven't played any rounds this year, Krister. We did not go to Orlando, so I did not have any chance to lose it. We almost went. We almost went on Thursday, and I was having real bad withdrawals, really bad withdrawals. And I even looked up over here. There's we normally take a airline called Southwest. Southwest is fairly inexpensive rates, and you can take a bunch of bags for free. And there's another airline called Spirit, and Spirit has supposedly lower rates. However, every little accessory you pay for. So if you want to bring a bag on, that costs. If you want to bring a second bag, that costs. If you want to eat the peanuts and the pop, that costs. And all these different charges. So now the thing that Spirit did that I really liked was the first 2 or 3 rows had these big seats, almost like a first class.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, damn, I'm getting me one of those. Well, of course, that costs. And then so once you said, well, I might bring on an extra bag just in case, just I don't want to get tagged with it. And then Robin says, well, she's got to go. Why? But she's got to go. So when we put it all back together, it wasn't any less expensive than going on Southwest, of which they didn't have any more flights. We waited one day too long. Otherwise, we'd have probably been down there. All right. JP Duncan says, golf ball construction is funny. In general, one extra layer between 3 and 4 piece doesn't get the ball better than another. It can help fine-tune spin loft for certain clubs, long irons versus mid. Kind of what Dan was saying. All right, look here. There's Kent. He's from the UK. Well, hit that thumbs anyway, Jim. No doubt, right? There we go. All right. Thank you, Kent. 2-piece left spin off the tee, 3-piece more spin, better around greens. Okay, we're getting it all out there. That's an excellent question. We'll see. RSG, 4-piece golf ball around. Sounds like a marketing term because they don't want to say we use witchcraft to make it. Oh. In my opinion, the most important things is to look for is cover material, urethane versus isodome, and compression. Yeah, you don't see a lot with compression anymore, do you?
No.
If I wouldn't have told you this, you wouldn't have known.
Nope.
Now, would you have thought that this was a softer ball?
I would have.
Me too. Me too. The feel factor comes in through way easier.
Yeah.
Way easier. And the isonomer, I know that one. It's been a while since I've seen a golf ball with that particular stuff on it. And that was it. And also the wear too, right? We talk about wear when you get, especially when we get down into the south and hit out of that sand. Man. Here we go. Cam investigated golf balls last year, was spinning a Chrome Soft almost 4,000 RPM, switched to Chrome Soft LX 24 and gained 30 yards. Well, welcome to my world, Cam. That's what was happening to me. We stay open all year, so it damages the course. Like now, we start mowing open at the range in April as well. Very cool. Very cool. Okay. Played left dash for the last 4 seasons. Don't like the firm feel, but love it. That's like me playing the XLS, man. I get a lot of performance out of it. It's okay, but man, it can sting you if you're not watching. Oh, speaking of that, what's the coldest you're going to play in? I know you don't like cold. If you had a choice, what's the coldest you'd play in?
Probably 60.
60?
Yeah.
Wow, you make me feel pretty good, man.
Yeah.
60 degrees. We've played in colder than
I
that.
know we have.
We've played in colder than that. He layered up, though, I will say that.
I
60
don't like
degrees.
cold weather.
Oh, my. All righty. Jack says, I usually play Callaway Super Softs or Chrome Softs, depending on what I find cutting the grass at my course. Now, look at that. We got a whole bunch of grass cutters
Yeah.
out here. There you go. You guys can compare notes, man. Bob does something I've never seen anybody do on a green. And he mows it back. Well, first and foremost, I've watched him get off and what is that? The blower?
Yeah.
So how do you go about doing all that?
Well, all depends. If there's anything on the green, I blow it off before I ever start mowing. And because if you get sticks or acorns
Oh,
are really bad, and they'll just tear a green up. But that's what I do. I blow it off before if there's anything on it. Then they got what's called a buffalo blower. I think about that big around.
Oh, yeah.
And it's on wheels and it's got a motor itself. And when we're really busy, they'll get that thing out and use it.
So if you get an acorn in your mower, does it like keep making the track all the way around, or does
if it don't come out, it'll cut the green. It'll mark it really bad.
Ugh, we don't want that. And then he gets out there, and then the what's the other part that gets you is riding by and trying to pull out the flagstick.
Oh yeah. I don't do that no more.
Oh, all right. Here's Peter. What's he say? I read a lot about golf manufacturers having bad quality issues like Chrome Soft, Bridgestone, Srixon, where the Tiles golf ball have the highest quality standards, which is great for the win. The in the past, Peter, I'd have to agree. Now, and mostly, I can't speak to Bridgestone or Srixon, but I can speak to Chrome Soft in that they got caught with their shorts down, and my Golf Spy did it to them, and they were cutting the balls in half, and so what you want is these are pieces of rubber, right? So it's a ball within a ball within a ball within a ball, and you want them in the center. Well, sometimes they're not; they're off center, and that makes the ball fly funky. So I've had that happen too, where you just hit the ball and all of a sudden it just takes off left or right, and you're like, "What was that?" And then they got caught. So Callaway invested like $50 million. $50 million into their top flight. Their was it Massachusetts that makes the golf. Makes the golf ball. And what they have is an X-ray machine to ensure that they see that. So the quality of the ball is way, 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 way better now than say it was 5 years ago. That happened. That update happened a year ago or 2 years ago. So yeah, but yeah, they did exist. Mid-60s. That's nearly as old as me, Jim. Me too, bro. And it is old about as me, as being in the mid-60s, and Bob too, by the way. And he would have been just a little bit of a pup when these things came out, and me too. Or a twinkle in my dad's eye, as they say. There's Dean. What do you say, sir? I play the Callaway Super Soft. Plan on trying the Wilson golf balls you gave me. Good. I'm glad to see it's going to work. Those mid-late 60s staff blades, I think they call them button backs.
Button backs.
Okay. Well, they got that guy right there, right? That little button right there. So it's right there. We are talking golf, woman. Yeah, it's good. Hey, this is an all wide-ranging golf thing going on. Yeah, you got that right there for you. We're almost to the bottom anyway. Okay. We still have the Walter Hagens. How's everything in Waverly? Very cold, Dean. Very cold. Derek likes the Q Stars, high quality ball 35. Did you hear about my Golf Sky Kirkland report? I did not. No, wait, maybe I did. I saw that little thing. So the first Kirkland ball that came out was like the second coming of a Pro V.
Mhm.
Everybody had to have them. Well, they switched manufacturers, and now everybody went and bought this next round of them, and I guess they're not very good.
Find a lot of them on the golf course.
The Kirklands?
Kirklands?
Really?
Yeah.
In Chillicothe, where there's no Costco.
Yep.
I'll be darned.
Like
All
they
right.
hit them and
No doubt.
just leave them lie.
Yeah. Dennis is in the house trying the Max Fly. You know what? That's starting to gain a little traction now that they've got Lexi Thompson on board. I'm glad you like them. Well, it could go either way, man. We play around here to 25 degrees, no problem. I just wear winter shorts.
Winter shorts.
Yeah. Kent is a tough individual right there. Michael says, my last game was 34 degrees in November.
Oh, my
Negative.
goodness.
No. Now, I have played in 34-degree weather in the Carolinas, and I'll plan on doing that again. Jerry Wilson missed the 90 compressor, a lot of balls spinning 100 in the summer. Well, these are 94, so not too bad. Good greenkeeping. Look at that. Kent's telling you good practices.
Well, thank you.
There we go. All right. Bob, give us a good putting tip. All right, here we go.
Good putting tip.
He is the putting machine. I will say that.
Well, what's the name of the putter?
Makefield.
Makefield. I got the center shafted. And the big thing that I found is just keep it on line on your backstroke. And then we put that shaft in. It really helped. Because I had a problem when I started, the putter would go like this. And that shaft just eliminated that.
So we put the BGT in his club. And it's a low torque shaft. You don't necessarily have to do BGT, although it is extraordinarily nice. I do like it. But the low torque, the very low torque shafts,
Yeah.
it's night and day, isn't it?
Oh, it is, yeah.
It's like with the standard one, and you don't notice it until you put the other one in play.
Yep.
You put the other one in play, and that steel shaft's like flopping like a fish. And the other one is just rock solid.
Yep.
Just absolutely rock solid.
And that's what helps me on long putts is that I don't get that movement, to where it's just straight back and straight through.
Oh, and he played that Australian putter grip too.
Yeah.
And when he went back, he was holding on to it a different way, and then went back down to the normal way. Forget about it. It was all done. Wilson made a set called the FG 100s. I remember those. Upgraded to button back was very nice. I remember those. Mike Delvesco, I believe that Wilson iron is the button back model from 71. Well, I will look it up. They got on the website, they've got a listing of these and what gives it away is this muscle that's right here. I can't remember if it was late 60s or if it was early 70s. All right. So, sorry, Bob. That was a finger bird, not the thumbs up. Many apologies. Well, that won't be the first time that's happened to him, Kent. So we're in pretty good shape. So there we are. We made it down to the bottom with Kent, and we made it almost a half an hour longer than Norm, so not too bad. So what do you think? What are we going to do? We're going to get some Wilson balls?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get some Wilson balls?
Yep.
We'll have to try them out and go take them around and see what we can do about getting some.
Yep.
Anything else? And so we know we're not taking the Wilson blades with us.
No. I do like, which one?
That was the regular blade.
I did like that club right there, though.
Okay. He's talking about the Dynaforge, so maybe we have to take a look at that one a little bit too. All righty. So, guys, thank you for watching. Bob, thank you for joining.
See you, everybody.
And as always, let's see. We get into here. We got the video coming out tomorrow at 7 o'clock. It's on the Dynaforge Club. And take a gander at it and tell me what you think. And as always, let's see your scores. Go low.